A recent study by BambooHR found that job satisfaction was at a 4-year low, led by workers in the tech and nonprofit sectors who found that their job satisfaction was plummeting. If we look at what tech workers told us, they found that layoffs and AI were adding uncertainty to the job market and to job satisfaction. I'm sure that on Sunday night, as you prepare for the week, you have often had tinges of reluctance. I just don't want to. Why does Monday have to be so Monday? Or when Friday comes around, feeling like TGIF, thank God I got through another week. I want to believe that there's a better way. I want to believe that there's a better way for you to find job satisfaction no matter what job you're in. I've done it before, and I think you can do it now. So no matter what, let's learn to love your job again. If you're new here, my name is Kathy. This is Motivation Code. Motivation Code is an assessment that helps you better understand how you're fulfilled. When you understand how you're fulfilled, you can make jobs much more interesting. And I'll share a few examples of how I've done this in the past. I didn't know I was doing it at the time that I was tying my job into my motivational dimensions, but it worked. Let's first talk about job satisfaction. Years ago, I was working in an organization, and there was one person that I worked with who was very dissatisfied. She was really in the wrong role in the wrong organization. She wasn't getting the freedom and flexibility that she needed, and she was very unhappy. I encouraged her, instead of quickly quitting her job, that she work on the challenges that were presenting to her. Here's the thing. If you just quit your job and go get another job and you don't solve the problems that got you into the job you're in to begin with, you're just going to end up in that job 2.0. It's just going to be the same exact job. It's just going to look a little different. The names will change. The faces will change. The people will change. Even the job itself might change. But if you haven't changed, if you haven't discovered what motivates you, if you don't discover why you do the things that you do, you're just going to recreate the same experiences somewhere else. So before you decide that a job isn't for you, it's really important that you do your due diligence, that you do your homework, not on the job, but your homework on yourself. Jim Rohn says that if you work harder on yourself than you do on your job, that's when you find success. The more you invest in who you really are and understanding the undercurrents of your motivations, why you do things, what you're looking to create, and you start going after those things with your motivation, everything starts to fall into place. You'll shift your life when you shift yourself. So don't quit your job yet. Let's do some work on figuring out who you are. Now, I firmly believe that success is an inside job. When you're looking to find greater fulfillment in your job, it's really important to know a few things. First of all, you need to understand yourself. You need to understand what motivates you, what ticks all of your boxes, what makes you excited, what makes you feel like your life is on purpose. Then you need to identify what things in your life or what things in your job you can change. And then you need to identify the things that you can't change. Now, once you know yourself and you know what you can change, it becomes very easy. When you know what motivates you, if you know that you are motivated by working with other people, or if you know that you're motivated by changing people's minds, if you have an influencer as one of your primary motivational dimensions, then you can start to make some shifts in your job. And I'll give you a little hack for that in a minute, because influencer is one of my motivational dimensions. Once you understand yourself and you understand what works for you, what makes you feel fulfilled, what makes you close the laptop at the end of the day and feel like, all right, I did what I came here to do. I feel on purpose with everything I'm doing. And your job isn't necessarily giving you all of that. You're armed with information. You can go to your boss, you can go to your supervisor and say, hey, look, I did this assessment and this is some of the things that it told me about myself, and I really need to restructure how I'm doing some things. So here are some of the things that I would like to do. I know that I'm an influencer, so I know I need to work with people. I need to communicate my passion, my vision, my excitement about this particular thing to other people. How can I do that in a way that serves the organization? 9 times out of 10, your boss is going to say, wow, this is great. You just said that and it made me think of this other problem that we're trying to solve. Maybe you can help us do this thing. Your communication and your understanding of the business is such that you could probably contribute here in some really amazing ways. So once you understand who you are and you see what you can change, Now it's time to really look at the things that you can't. You probably can't change other people all that much. I used to say I had trust issues, and a wise person told me, if you trust that people will always be the way they are, you'll never have trust issues again. And it's true. If you just trust that people are showing you who they really are, and then you can just accept them for who they are, you stop trying to change them, it can add a lot of peace to your life. There's some things in your organization that you'll never change. If you have a clash with someone that you don't necessarily work with all the time, maybe understanding their motivational dimensions can help you work with them in a way that they feel like you are supporting them, so they can be more likely to support you as well. But there's some things that you can't change, and you have to decide, can I accept these things as they are? Imagine them as the topography of an organization. When there's a mountain, you build the road around the mountain. It is just the way things work, and you need to find a way to accept it and work around it, or maybe it's time to exit. But before you decide to exit, make sure you're working on yourself and working on the things that you can change. It may make the things that you can't change much more acceptable. Once you've figured out who you are, once you've figured out what you can change to make your job more fulfilling, now it's time to refactor your work so it's in alignment with your motivational dimension. If you don't know what your motivational dimension is yet, you can take the assessment for $19 down below. You can get a full report for more, but get yourself started with $19 and at least you give it an idea of who you are. It's really important to reframe your tasks. Consider the importance of your work. Once you can tie the purpose of your work to your motivational dimension, everything kind of starts to fall into place. It makes going to work every day much easier because you know who you are, you know the purpose of your work, and those things line up in a way that feels really fulfilling. You can also realign your processes. For example, if you are a visionary, it's really important that your job aligns with your greater vision and that your greater vision can also have a feedback loop into the tasks at hand. Once you understand what your motivational dimensions are, this becomes incredibly easy. It's very important to embrace your job as an opportunity for personal growth, whether you feel aligned or don't. No matter what's showing up in your world has a lesson for you, whether it's something you run into on a walk or something that's happening in your job. Even personality conflicts can show you something about yourself that you hadn't considered before. So when you go to a job and you say, all right, what am I going to learn today? How can I grow in this position? How can I help others grow and actually give the gift of helping others to feel more fulfilled? These are very empowering and can make your job feel much more fulfilling by the end of the day. Another thing you can do is gamify your job in alignment with your motivational dimensions. Now, I did this years ago. I was doing a particular job that was interfacing with customers, and I wasn't necessarily fulfilled in that position. Now, I loved working with customers, but there was something about it that became rote, mundane, and it didn't have the same fulfillment as it did when I first started and things were fresh and I was learning new things. So what I did is I gamified it. I would look for other coworkers who are having difficulty with customers. Maybe there was somebody who was angry, somebody who was frustrated, a customer that was in a negative emotional state, and I would ask my coworker, hey, do you need some help? I would be happy to step in and help out with this. Sometimes they'd say, no, I've got it, and they would take ownership, but other times people would be like, oh, I've been working with this guy and he's just not understanding what I'm trying to say. Would you please step in? This would be great. I would actually take this on as a great challenge. I would love taking someone from an angry and frustrated state and turn them into someone who is getting ready to give a 5-star review. Those types of situations where I could change someone's mindset completely from negative to positive, I found myself incredibly empowered. I felt like I had been on purpose. I was doing what I was there to do. I was not required to do this as a part of my job, but it was something that made my job much more exciting, much more fulfilling, and I felt like I was doing good in the world because I took somebody from a negative emotional state into a positive emotional state. It wasn't until I took the motivation code that I learned that this was ticking one of my boxes. My primary motivational dimension is visionary, and the secondary motivational dimension is influencer. My influencer box was getting ticked, and I was feeling fulfilled every time I could take someone from a negative emotional standpoint and bring them to a positive one and leave them feeling better throughout the day. So that influencer within me felt fulfilled if I could do that. In this way, I was helping a coworker, I was being of service to the organization, and I was being of service to the customer, and I was fulfilling myself. By playing this game with myself, I made myself stand out as a high achiever in this particular job that had become boring and mundane to me, and got me more back into what I loved doing, which is working with people and helping them find empowerment, which is part of the reason why I'm here at Motivation Code. If you're an achiever, it's really important that you share your accomplishments. As an achiever, you feel fulfilled and motivated when other people recognize that you are an achiever. You want to be rewarded for the things that you're doing. So if you have achiever as one of your primary motivational dimensions, and you're not feeling fulfilled in your job, make sure that you're seeking recognition for the contributions that you're making. In this way, you're going to find fulfillment. If you don't know your motivational dimension at this time, you can take that assessment linked down below, find out what your motivational dimensions are, and then you can start to gamify your job in a way that finds greater fulfillment. I'm going to talk a little bit about gratitude. Now, this might seem like something that's a little bit woo-woo, but it is something that there is some actual scientific research behind. Feeling grateful for the things you have, feeling proud of the accomplishments that you have achieved. These are all things that help you feel greater pride, greater purpose, greater fulfillment. A lot of times high achievers like yourself will keep pushing and push to the next level and the next level. And you never stop to just say, you know what? I broke through some limiting beliefs. I broke through some things that were blocking me. I changed the way I thought about things. Look at the very small thing that 6 months ago I would have been very proud that I had done this thing. And right now I'm still frustrated that I'm not all the way over here. Stand where you are right now. Find gratitude where you are right now, and it's going to make you feel a greater fulfillment and a greater purpose in everything that you are doing. Even if you have failed, you've learned something. Feel some gratitude about the things that you've learned that are empowering you in moving forward. Take some time to look back over the things that you've done over the past 6 months, year, 6 years, and see how far you really have come. There are certainly achievements that you aren't celebrating enough. Find a way to set some time aside to really appreciate who you are, what you've done, what you've accomplished. Your motivation code is key to all of this. Once you understand who you really are, it can help you line up and plan for your future in a way that no other assessment can do. When you really take a look at the stories of fulfillment that you've had in your life, times in your life where you have found the greatest happiness in the work you've done, whether it was volunteer work or work in your corporate career, no matter what you've done, there are signs within your stories that can direct you towards greater fulfillment in your life. What are you waiting for? Taking the assessment only takes about 20-30 minutes, and the results are going to empower you to move forward. I hope this video has helped you find some ways that you can shift some of your beliefs, some of your attitudes and perceptions, shift some understanding about who you really are so that you can find greater fulfillment in the daily work that you do. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.